When I got out of prison, my brother picked me up. It was a confrontation time, but not in anger or put me in my place, but just out of conversations that needed to happen. And he and my sister-in-law, they took me to dinner. We talked. I was in a situation I didn't know what I was going to do. I was honestly scared to death. I was scared of facing them. I was scared of what I'm going to do, where I'm going to live, how I'm going to get a job, everything that was there, because it was all unknown. We had a great dinner that night. They took me to a steakhouse and bought me the best meal I'd had in 7 years. No doubt about that. Went to try to find a place to live, and they had done a lot of work to try to make sure of something that would work in some place that I could go. Well, we went and got to that place late that night, and Greg didn't even let me out of the car. Let me go check it out. I'm like, at this stage, I'm just like used to being told what to do, and I was kind of thankful that he was wanting to take charge. Well, he went in and checked the place out and found out where I was supposed to be staying. There were people already there. The place was trashed. It looked like garbage. Well, they found me a hotel room for the night. Spent the night in the hotel room. It was kind of nice to be able to have the key to my own door, but at the same time, I suddenly felt very lonely. Next morning, I woke up early and walked down to a donut shop and got a donut and a cup of coffee with what little bit of money I did have on my books left over. They ended up getting me set up in a nice place to stay. It was a hotel still, but it was a place to stay until I got a job and could get a place of my own. Well, I didn't have my driver's license or ID. I didn't have a state ID or anything when they let me out. So the next day, they picked me up and we go down to the DMV with the idea of getting an ID. One of the things that was really weird to me at that point was I walked into the DMV and went to get in line, and they told me to scan the QR code. Well, I didn't even know what a QR code was. Thankfully, my brother was there for me yet again. I scanned the QR code, entered my information in a phone that he brought me, had me set up with, and even got me taken up so I could get service turned on. And it just, step by step, he helped me in things that I don't think I would have been able to negotiate without him, because it was a new world. There were things I just didn't know how to do. Well, I couldn't get an ID because my driver's license was expired by over 5 years, so they can't just automatically renew it. You got to go through all kinds of things, including proving you're a resident of the state of Tennessee. Well, I can't prove I'm a resident of the state of Tennessee because I have no address, I have no bills, I have nothing except the clothes on my back. Some of those were brought to me by him from stuff I had, and others, were some that he actually took me to a thrift store and let me buy some things that I got to pick out. It took me 3 weeks to get an ID. I'm down to 1 week left in the hotel trying to figure out what I'm going to do. I'm looking for a job, and that's really hard to find because, as soon as I get a job, parole officer is going to call and say, hey, do you know he's on paper, and this is what's going on. And of course, a couple of jobs I had interviews for like that, as soon as they found out I was involved with TDOC, they decided that I was no longer a candidate. And Friday morning of the last weekend at the hotel, I was depressed. I was looking at the fact I'm about to be on the streets and have no place left to live, because the money's run out. I can't just keep asking my family to keep supporting me. It wouldn't be right. I'm walking down the street because I just had to get out and move. And I'm walking down the street talking to God, and I'm like, Lord, I don't know what to do. I'm lost. I'm about to be on the street, and I need your help. I need you to tell me what to do, God. And I remember very, very, very clearly. I didn't hear a voice in my ear, but I understood. And he said, go ahead and do what you planned on doing today. Well, originally my plan was to go down to the Veterans Administration and try to get my disability money put in my bank account, which I finally got now because I finally had an ID. Still didn't have a job. But that was $180 roughly that would provide some food. I needed to get that going. It was going to be the only thing I had, and I'm telling you, I'm depressed. That morning when I woke up, I just didn't even feel like going down and dealing with that. But while I'm walking, I just turned around and I decided, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'll do what God said. I got my clothes changed. I went down, rode the bus, got to the Veterans Administration office, and I walked in and told the lady what I needed to do, and she said, okay, hang on just a minute. I'll get someone to help you. Met with a man named Sam. In his office, started giving the information and what I needed to do and who I was, etc. And so he's got his pen out and he's holding it in his hands, taking notes. And he asked me for my address, and I told him, well, my address is this hotel right now, but as of Monday, I'm going to be on the street homeless. I'm not going to have an address, so I don't know what to give you. His pen literally fell out of his hand onto the desk. He dropped it. The words that came out of his mouth were, oh no, we're not going to have that. You're one of ours. I didn't know what to think. He began to find options for places where I could go. And I'm going to call out room in the inn. That was one of the options. Well, I went over and met with the people at housing. He set up an appointment for me to go over there that morning. I went over and I met with them. They called room at the inn. I had an appointment to go over and see them after lunch. So I went over to room in the inn and I met with them, told them what was going on, told them who I was, told them my background. And they said, well, you can move in here Monday. We'll have a spot for you. It was called the Veterans Grant Per Diem Program. It's a program for homeless veterans, which is what I was. I went in that program, and the first thing they told me was, okay, I know you've been stressing out, so next couple of days, just relax. We'll get with you and get you working on the program. But for right now, we want you to feel safe. We want you to feel secure. You've got a place to live. You've got food. You're going to be all right. Wow. I did what God told me to do. And I went and did the plans that He already had for me, that I had already worked on. Took me, Lord, I don't know, I feel like it was 6 weeks to find a job. I found a job. Turned out to be the same job I'm in now 3 years from after the fact. I was able to save money and able to get out in a place of my own. There's a whole series of other events that happen after this. But that's the first month. And there was a lot of feeling alone that first month. There was a lot of being in a hotel. And I worked with Project Return. They were great. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have got my ID. They were a big help in that. They helped me get a bank account set up through Fifth Third Bank. I'm going to call them out because they actually stepped up and went to Project Return and helped me. And wow, I guess I'm going to keep that account at Fifth Third because, when I needed someone, they were there. None of that would have happened had I not gone to prison. It wouldn't have even been an issue. But nevertheless, God was there. And my brother was there. My sisters, my mom, they all helped that first month get me in a place. But had I done what I wanted to do and just back down and become destitute and homeless, I probably still would be. I'm just thankful that God heard me when I prayed and gave me a direction to go. Life doesn't have to be all the negative we see in it. I know some of you don't have a brother like I did. He called me and checked on me all the time. Still does. We talk. He's a good brother. I remember that first Christmas, he wanted to make sure I wasn't going to be alone. I don't even know how to end this at the moment because there's more to tell. But I think right now that's just as good a place as I can end. And I'll end it with this. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Dee Dee. I don't know what I'd done that very first day when I walked through those gates. I couldn't make it without y'all. Thank you.